I can't remember a time in my life where I haven't been friends with Andrew. We've basically grown up together. As a result, I have hundreds of memories of us at all ages, as early as 1 to 3 MCC tennis, along with your Coke addiction, where you drink upwards of 5 Cokes a day throughout the course of the summer, and as recently as late night drives and Western Wednesdays. I've never met somebody with such an odd yet entertaining sense of humor, ranging from calling people jabronis to verbally announcing that you've dropped your pocket knife. Some of the things you say are so strange, and yet I'm still left crying every time that we hang out. I know it doesn't matter if we're sitting in online class, arguing with Johnny in the middle of a point, or literally driving in circles around the city. We're always going to be laughing and having a good time together. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Andrew Bechtold.
I can guarantee that everyone seeing this right now has settled for something at one point in their lives. Whether it be yesterday when you settled for a pink Starburst over your favorite flavor, orange, or something more significant like settling to go to a school that wasn't your dream. Our whole lives we are told never settle, but why? Why do we associate danger with settling? Is settling the failure of reaching our own ideals or our peers? Whether we find ourselves in first or last place, we are all nonetheless settling. Growing up, most of us wanted to be the richest person in the world, a pro athlete, a musician, or perhaps an actor and actress. The farther we progress throughout our high school careers, we see these various paths that we have the option of following grow increasingly narrow, and we are left with our only choice, settling. Seniors, we are facing what is most likely the biggest case of settling we've experienced thus far in our lives, the college selection process. What we may consider a perfect fit for us, our skill level and our passion, may be a school that the student sitting next to you would laugh over. It is simply the reality of things. Although there is no shame in this. Some people consider Stanford the best school in the country, some Harvard, others Princeton, and so on. Even if you're admitted to the best school, it may not be the best school in the opinion of another person, and therefore you are settling. Although we view settling with a negative overtone, it is nothing more than the acceptance of your own goals and the rejections of the ones that those around you have expected you to achieve. We shouldn't want what others want. Instead, we should aim for what we expect of ourselves. In the words of the tech mogul and brilliant scholar, Dr. Evil, why make billions of dollars when you can make millions? This is obviously just another nonsensical quote from the Austin Powers series, but it can be effectively applied in this scenario. Why do we need to make billions of dollars when what we want is a few million? Why do we even need $1 million if we know what will make us happy is marrying that person that you've always wanted to marry or having a family of your own? We aren't settling for not having millions of dollars. We're settling for the goals that we tailored to ourselves that will provoke happiness and fulfillment. I have settled for countless things over the past 17 years. Freshman year, I had little motivation, which I wouldn't recommend, and as a result, I received poor grades. Currently, I have to settle with the dead weight that my freshman grades bear when viewing my transcript. On the other hand, I have to settle with the fact that my sister will always be better than me at field hockey because I'm not a field hockey player. I am settling for my standards, not hers. I am settling for the fact that I'm writing my speech about the same topic that my brother 10 years ago and my sister 5 years ago wrote theirs about, settling. In fact, I have to settle with the fact that I lack such originality that I use the same format as my brother's speech and even pulled a quote from it. So don't be afraid of settling. Instead, be afraid of settling for being and thinking like other people. In the end, whether we are bajillionaires or have a few dollars to our name, we settled for having one less dollar than we have now. Don't settle to be perfect, settle to settle. Thank you.
I can't believe you actually made it to be a senior. You've grown so much from being a tiny kid with anger issues to a slightly taller role model. I've had the pleasure and misfortune of being your younger brother for 16 long years, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Keep striving to be the best version of yourself possible, and I know you'll do amazing things in the future. It's my honor to introduce the Culver's boy himself, Israel Powell.
I am so impressed with you that I'd like to offer you the job right now. Oh my God. My mind was racing with excitement. ace this interview. I didn't think twice. I immediately said yes and agreed to begin working that following Monday. That was my first mistake. If there's anything you take away from this senior speech, it's that if a job hires you on the spot, you're going to go through some serious hell. But I was young and dumb and eager to get paid, and who doesn't love money? As many of you know, I am a member of Wisconsin's very own True Blue Crew. From this job, I've learned many things, but mainly humans are terrible. So today, I'm going to tell you a few of my favorite memories, including USM's very own. For the most part, I am a fine example of what a Culver's employee should be, except for the occasion when a person is being terribly rude and showing anything but common decency. A customer pulled up to the speaker and begins to complain and give me a hard time about the price of a meal, which included 2 deluxe burgers, fries, and 2 Sierra Mist. As an employee, I understand that Culver's does indeed charge an absurd amount for its food. However, we make up for that when we hand out a full page of coupons via mail quarterly. When this lady pulls to the window so I can take a look at the receipt and coupon, she proceeds to yell, "The coupon says $2 off, so why in the world is my total over $10? I took a look at the lady, very annoyed, but still polite, understanding. I reply, "There's a 5% sales tax on everything. The coupon itself even says so. Also, it looks like you requested to add cheese, which is an additional 50 cents per sandwich, and wanted to go heavy on all the toppings on the sandwich, which is an additional 60 cents. Also, the additional drink added around $2.50 to your bill as well. That's why it's not $6.99, as it should be with just the basics." "Okay, fine. Take the extra drink off." "Okay, so your total is going to be around $10-ish. No, it's $6.99. "Ma'am, there's still tax. Also, the extra cheese and toppings you wanted are still adding an additional $2 to your bill." At this point, I'm fully annoyed, and she's backing up our line, taking an eternity to get the change. On top of that, she was screaming at the top of her lungs, flaring spit everywhere in the middle of a pandemic. After she pays and I hand her the food and she doesn't move. Instead, she says, "Where's my other mist?" "You took it off, remember? The coupon came with 1 drink, so you have 1 Sprite." "Give me my Sprite and I paid for it." I printed out a receipt to show her that she was incorrect. "You didn't pay for it. Give me my Sprite." "I can't do that unless you pay for it, ma'am." "Give me my Sprite." "You've already got your drink and came with the coupon. You didn't pay for an additional drink, remember?" At this point, she proceeded to say some not so common trust things for the purpose of the senior speech I cannot repeat. But at this point, it was a standoff for staring in each other's souls, and I knew that she was not going to move until she got another drink. And then it popped into my head. Okay, 1 second. I pour carbonated water, which looks identical to Sprite. "Enjoy your free drink." I slam the window shut as she drives off. I know it's petty, and normally I wouldn't have done something like this, but I promise you she deserved it. Now, for the most part, people are not this bad, but typically this is every conversation that involves a misunderstanding of our prices. But while a lot of people forget their manners and at home, some have the awesome power of lifting my day and even have some favorite customers such as Johnny Graham. Johnny typically comes in the summer when we have our lemon ice special. Since we are in the middle of a pandemic, no one's allowed to enter besides employees. So over the course of the past summer, he has found interesting ways to order while keeping his bike in arm's reach. One of them is simply entering the drive-through lane, ignoring the terrible drivers that are Mequon moms who pulled into parking lot pushing 30 miles per hour even after I told them multiple times to just come into the front door and I'll come out, because I'd hate to have to explain to Mrs. Graham why her son was just flattened by a Chevy Suburban. His ordering skills also include sitting on a side curb and playing Clash Royale until you text his sister trying to figure out why he's there. But Johnny is arguably one of my favorite customers. His simple politeness and of please and thank you that everyday adults forget. On top of this, Johnny also tips a solid quarter every visit. While this isn't much, it's the thought that makes my day and always makes me eager to take his order. While this job makes me want to rip out my hair and scream bloody murder 90% of the time, It's the other 10% of seeing people smile and enjoy their custard that makes me stay. People often forget that we too are people and are not just servants for your every need. We too would enjoy serving you 10 times more if everyone would just follow common decency of please and thank you. Besides, it may even get you a size up from what you ordered. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lydia Rossetti, and I am proud to introduce Liam Grady's senior presentation. I was new to USM last year, but I have known Liam for slightly longer. I vividly remember sitting on the beach in Italy when I suddenly received a Snapchat notification from a random guy named Liam Grady. I added him back and spent the next few weeks before school, started mostly ghosting him, but he persisted. I finally met my Instagram stalker the first day of school, and the rest is history. Liam might be the most outgoing person I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. I, as well as many of you, have been a witness to his, shall we say, enthusiastic nature in class. Here's the thing about Liam. People at school may see a goofy, loud guy who wouldn't think twice about picking someone up and running with them over his shoulders. However, he is so much more than that. Liam is a fiercely loyal, trustworthy, passionate, and kind individual who fights for what and who he cares about. He always knows how to brighten up a room with laughter, is a truly empathetic listener, and has taught me how to be confident in myself. I'm excited to watch your future unfold as we go off to college, and I am honored to call you my best friend.
Buffalo wings are my favorite food. As a kid, my family and I would go to Buffalo Wild Wings about once a month to watch a Badger game. My spice tolerance back then, miserable. I would sit there, panting like a dog, chewing like a Neanderthal, slowly ravaging through my mild wings. My mom, who would get a rap, beta move, would attack me at the table, making comparisons like, "You look like a bear snapping a salmon out of a river," or my dad's favorite, a raccoon snapping a hot dog out of a tree. Then, my mom established the Grady principles, a creed of sorts, and our family was forced to abide by 4 concepts: kindness, loyalty, civility, and good manners. Kindness is important for all to have. A day can be changed by your kindness. Always try your best to be kind, because even the small gestures can have a big impact. Loyalty is all about remembering. Remember who helps you when you need it, or someone who doesn't hesitate to come to your defense. On the contrary, don't forget who has wronged you, and keep that in mind because it can show somebody your appreciation. Selective amnesia is a poor reflection of your morals. When someone asks for your help, loyalty is expressed by just doing, not questioning. Civility. Carry yourself with high regard. Be polite. Have class. Speak your mind, but also listen to what others have to say. Good manners. Your mom is right. They are important. They correspond with civility. Respect and present yourself to the best of your ability. Even the small things like holding a door or wearing a mask can reflect your good manners. Be the best you can be. Carry yourself with respect. You are worth as much as you believe you are. Mistakes are impossible to avoid, and in the words of Cicero, to err is inherent in every man, but to persist in error takes a fool. Don't be defined by a past self or your mistakes. Learn from them. Move on. Don't compromise your character trying to be someone you're not. You create it. Don't let something you dislike define you. Lucky for us, USM promotes good character through the common trust and provides us privilege very few have. Don't let your privilege define you. Always be the best you can be, unless you're eating wings. Thank you.
When I first met Harrison, it was at cross-country practice. Harrison was much shorter and much quieter, and I thought our first run together would be pretty awkward. But I was so wrong. Harrison, I can't believe it's been 4 years since then. Out of the hundreds of miles we've run together, none of them have been boring with you there. I loved hearing your jokes, your stories, and your opinions on the most random things. I would have never expected to become so close to you so fast, but I'm so glad that we decided to go on that first run together. From USM to Wisconsin Rapids, thank you for making every day a little brighter, every run a little better, and thank you for being you. With all this being said, I introduce to you the half marathon to my 5K, the Apple Watch to my Garmin, the Allbirds to my Saucony, and the Peng Porridge to my Trace's Oats. The HH. No, not Helly Hansen, but the Harrison Harchis.
I am socially awkward around animals. Those of you who know me are probably asking, but don't you have a dog? And I'll start out by saying, yes, I do have a dog, but my relationship with him isn't the problem. In fact, my relationship with most animals isn't that bad. Really, it's kind of hard to put the problem into words. All I know is that I've had this condition since my childhood. Some of my first memories are about animals. I'm talking so far into the depths of my mind that the memories feel just as much a reality as they do a nightmare. In my earliest memory, me, my siblings, and our babysitter are walking to the park near our house. We're playing on the playground and having a good time until a gaggle of geese approaches us. We see them, but keep playing. Next thing we know, they've surrounded us, their wings are spread, and they begin charging at us. To avoid any conflict, we quickly climb onto the play equipment. Luckily, they don't come up with us, but they try waiting us out. And at first we do too, but we quickly tire out. Suddenly, our babysitter drops to the ground, picks up wood chips, and begins throwing them at the geese. Unfortunately, this is where my memory cuts off, and I have no idea how I got home, or if maybe I had a secret sibling that was killed by the geese. And speaking of getting killed by a goose, I told my grandma this once, and she told me that she knew someone who was killed by a goose. That being said, this grandma also told me that she knew someone who stuck their head out of a school bus window and was decapitated when they hit a mailbox, so I don't know whether her story is actually true. This next memory is also from the recesses of my mind, but is much more vivid. I'm in our backyard playing with my sister Maya. Out of nowhere, we hear a dog barking. I look in the direction the noise is coming from and see 2 golden retrievers running at us. Before even thinking to tell Maya to run, I'm booking it towards our house. Soon she's running with me, and we're passing our playset. I contemplate hiding up in the playset, but think, no, not the geese again. Once we get to our back door, we slide it open and run inside, but we forget to close the door. A rookie mistake. The dogs follow us inside and continue chasing us around the house. Maya and I are both screaming. Suddenly, my mom swoops in and gets them outside and saves us. Although there are many more moments like these, I don't want to take up too much of our time, so I'll skip ahead a few years. You will soon note that I was very much scarred from childhood, but I will also tell you that those early experiences allowed me to learn and grow to prevent any worse animal encounters. In middle school, there was a vicious and crafty wiener dog that lived by our house. Now, when I say crafty, I'm talking crafty, like Satan in the Garden of Eden crafty. When I would go for bike rides or runs, I would always approach the dog's house with caution because you never knew if it was outside or not. You see, he would hide under the front porch until you were at the point on the sidewalk closest to him. At this specific moment, he would strike. I would sprint. I would run like my life depended on it, because who knows what that wiener dog was capable of. This next moment is the most recent. It was last summer and I was on a run. Naturally, I always choose the running routes that eliminate any possible encounter with animals. But on this day, I made an error. I'm running by a house that I didn't think had a dog, but as I run by, I hear a growl and a bark. I think I'm mistaken until out of the corner of my eye, I see what I think is a large bear running at me. I quickly pick up the pace. I pick it up so much that my watch said it was a sub 3-minute pace. I hear someone yell, "Stuart, no! Stuart, come back!" I keep running, and part of my mind begins thinking, today is the day I die. When I glance back, I see Stuart the Great Dane standing in the middle of the road, not running anymore, but blocking my only way home. To this day, I'm still scarred, but I have not lost hope. I still hope that one day I'll be able to face my social awkwardness around animals completely. And as Po says in Kung Fu Panda 2, Scars heal. Well, actually they don't, and Poe realizes that, but he also says, the only thing that matters is what you choose to be now. For me, my past social awkwardness around animals matters less now than in the past, and that is what I hope you take away from this speech. That it doesn't matter who you were in the past, all that matters is who you choose to be now. Thank you.
The first day I met Annika, we were at lunch in 8th grade. The shy girl with the side ponytail didn't seem interested in being friends with the annoying new girl. But I clearly didn't care, because I proceeded to bug her with questions and dumb conversation until she agreed to be my best friend. We bonded over our mutual love for old Disney shows and our Spotify playlists. And there's nobody else I'd rather spend my Friday nights with, go through my cringy boy band phases with, and spend all day talking about my future plans on FaceTime with. That's why I know you'll be there for life, because that's who you are, a best friend. You've already put up with me this long, so sorry, you're stuck with me. But I need you to know you honestly inspire me. You're the smartest person I've ever met and work harder than anyone I know. So you'll do whatever you want, and I'll be front row to watch it happen, saying I knew she would. So here she is, my best friend, Annika Asija.
My entire life, I've been incredibly close to my family. My brother, my mom, and my dad have always been sources of support and inspiration for all of my endeavors, which is a gift that I'll always be grateful I have. Even when we were growing up and kids my age were becoming resistant to hanging out with their family, I never experienced that and instead would spend all of my Sundays hanging out with my parents. Each one of my family members molded me into who I am today. Starting off with my brother. Ever since we were little, my brother and I have always been inseparable best friends. We would always do everything together and go everywhere together. Our parents worked a lot when we were younger, which caused us to be at home with each other and the babysitter every day. Our entire lives, whenever we are around extended family members and friends, without fail, one will always comment on our closeness. Although we do fight every time we are angry, almost always, 5 minutes later, we will be back to normal, as if we hadn't just fought minutes before. My brother has taught me to spend less time overthinking and more time enjoying life and appreciating its valuable moments. His humor and ability to find the positives in any situation are qualities that I've always admired and will be a constant in my life for years to come. Secondly, my dad. My dad is a person who comes across as very serious and professional at times, but when you get to know him, he's one of the most caring people you'll ever meet. He is the type of person that always has a million different things going on in his life, but somehow will always find time to provide for the people he loves. My entire family has always joked about how much he favors me, because at any given time, if I were to ask for something, he will drop everything and go out of his way to get it. One night, I talked to him about how much I was craving goldfish at the moment, and right on brand, the next day, he came home from Costco with a family-sized box of goldfish just because he had remembered I had said that. I've learned selflessness, courageousness, and how to carry myself with confidence, all from my dad, and I will always be eternally grateful for him teaching me those lessons. Lastly, my mom. Like my dad, my mom is someone who is always working. As long as I can remember, she has continuously worked full 12-hour shifts throughout the whole week. She is someone who is always looking out for your best interests. And even between patients, she will be researching solutions to my problems and finding innovative ways to solve them. Although I have had many best friends in my life, my mom is the one I've had the longest and loved the most. From watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians with me on Thursday nights to listening to me talk about nothing for hours on end, my mom is always there for me. She is hard on me to the point where I push myself to succeed, but never in a way that goes too far or harms me. Her drive, ability to balance so many things in life, and her ability to overcome adversity are valuable lessons that I've picked up from her and have made me a better person. As I get ready to go off to college, I know I'm well prepared, solely because of the qualities and lessons that I've acquired from my brother, my mom, and my dad. I feel incredibly blessed to have such a solid foundation and support system. I grew up in such a loving environment, and because I grew up this way, I know that I will thrive in whatever I pursue.